Burr, it's cold in here. But is it cold enough to stomp? Today's matchup? Baby, this one might be the most dangerous. Because we're not just talking about dance. We're talking about culture, ownership, and legacy. And the difference between performing and belonging. Because one of these films cheers for victory, while the other fights for redemption. Today on CinemaVersus, we are comparing Bring It On versus Stomp the Yard. Let's get into it. Roll that intro. What's up, what's goody, and what's poppin', fam? And welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time being here, first of all, hello! I am your host, TopKat. I am your YouTube personality, reactionary goddess, and cinema griot. Thank you so much for being here, because you could have been anywhere on Beyonce's good internet, but you were here with me, and I appreciate you for that. I just have one little favor as we continue on throughout this episode. If at any point in this episode you like what you see up on your black screen, you know your black mirror, if you could just hit that subscribe button down there, it would be greatly appreciated, because baby, we're friends now.
We're friends now.
Welcome back to CinemaVersus. This is our final round before the semifinals. Just to do a quick recap, You Got Served beat Roll Bounce, Save the Last Dance beat Step Up, and now we figure out who wins last week's battle. So last week we had Step Up to the Streets versus Honey, and after 7 whole days, again trying really hard not to sing Toni Braxton, we have a winner. With majority of the votes, the winner is Step Up to the Streets. Avenging for the fallen, that is Step Up. They are going to move on to the next round. Now, in today's CinemaVersus, we don't just watch movies, we put them into conversation. The whole point of this episode and the whole point of this series is just, just a little bit of fun, just a little bit of shade, just a little barbershop debate, Now, I know what you're thinking. TopKat, how is Bring It On even in here? And why is it going up against Stomp the Yard? Now, this matchup might not feel obvious at first glance, but what connects these two movies are the academic spaces, cheer squads, and fraternities. So before we get into these rounds, I thought it would be best to do a quick little recap, just in case you haven't seen these movies in a long time. Starting with Stomp the Yard. We follow DJ Williams, played by Columbus Short. Yes, if you've been following March Madness, then you already know this is not your first time seeing Columbus. A street dancer from Los Angeles whose life changes after the tragic underground dance battle that results into the death of his brother. Picture this. We start off with this intense dance battle, and we realize that DJ and the crew are not from the area that they're from. They challenge the reigning champs of that night, and they win. So the guy says double or nothing. And everybody else is like, no, we should leave. And DJ's like, nah, we're going to battle. They win. They're celebrating. And then next thing you know, that crew that lost was just like, nah, homie. Pop! We say goodbye to Chris Brown. See, that moment doesn't just open the film. It defines it. DJ is sent to Atlanta, where he enrolls at Truth University and is introduced to a completely different world. You're talking HBCU culture, stepping, and fraternity life. Now, he gets there, he is automatically mesmerized by Megan Good's character and is trying to chase her down just to get a moment of her time. He breaks up the line instantly makes a foe out of one of the leaders of Mu Gamma Xi, which is played by Darren Hanson. Eventually, DJ pledges Theta Nu Theta. DJ finds himself in direct competition with Mu Gamma Xi. And as DJ navigates grief, brotherhood, and discipline, the film builds itself towards the final step show, where performance becomes more than competition. It's a transformation. Now let's get into Bring It On. We follow Torrance Shipman, played by Kirsten Dunst, a newly appointed captain of the Rancho Carne Toro squad. She inherits a championship-winning team. But after the first day of practice, where she accidentally injures one of her cheerleaders, she hosts auditions, and this is where we meet Missy. Missy comes in, goes to a practice, and instantly leaves because she recognizes these cheers. Shock, horror, only to find out that for Torrance, these routines were stolen from the East Compton Clovers, led by ISIS. Now Torrance has to rebuild the team's identity from the ground up. They hire a choreographer who was running a scam, almost gets them disqualified. While the Clovers are fighting for recognition because they never made it to nationals due to finances, they eventually do make it. And both teams ultimately meet at nationals. So throughout the movie, Torrance has to rebuild a routine, win nationals, and do it without cheating. But underneath that, this story is about legacy, about ownership, and about what happens when the truth finally shows up. Well, now that we are all well acquainted, it's time to get into these rounds. Starting with round 1, the opening sequence. This round is an interesting one because we have high energy and drama versus high satire and camp. Stomp the Yard opens just kind of like You Got Served. We're straight into the battle round. Immediately after we find out about the tension between DJ and his brother and they win the battle, we're instantly hit with tragedy. It's immediate, it's violent, and it's emotional. The LA Underground battle doesn't just introduce DJ, it breaks him. And everything that happens after that moment is shaped by the loss. But Bring It On said, we're going straight into fun. You know it, I know it. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sexy, I'm cute, I'm popular to boot. I'm bitching, gray hair, the boys all love to stare. We know this cheer from top to bottom. This sequence is 100% straight camp. It's satire and it's exaggerated and it tells you immediately that they are in on the joke. Hate us because we're beautiful, but we don't like you neither. We're cheerleaders. We are cheerleaders. So where one movie builds emotional weight, the other movie opens building tone. Round 2, cast and ensemble. This movie, we have the R&B royalty versus the it girls. Stomp the Yard has presence. You've got Chris Brown, Neo, Columbus Short. It's giving mid-2000s R&B dominant. You also have the choreographer, Darren Henson, which adds authenticity to every performance. You have Megan Good, the love interest that motivates Columbus Short. And yes, we have seen her too for the 3rd time in this bracket. I mean, come on, she has been in Roll Bounce, You Got Served. But I need to take a moment and circle back to Mr. Maurice, okay? Christopher Maurice Brown, come to the stage, come to the center of the stage. Yes, you. Yep, How many of us were shocked by that opening? Huh? Because all throughout that marketing leading up to Stomp the Yard, we thought Chris Brown was going to be up and through this movie. I mean, he was in the posters, he was in the press junkets and everything. Just for this man to be taken out within the first 10 minutes of this movie like he is Drew Barrymore in Scream. Damn. You know who else was in Stomp the Yard? Tuck. Tuck is in this movie. Tuck from Step Up 2 is in Stomp the Yard. But Bring It On. Bring It On has a lot of chemistry. The Toros and the Clovers react to each other, and their rivalry feels alive. Kirsten Dunst, Elijah Dushku, Gabrielle Union, creating a dynamic where the teams feel like just as important as the leads. And I didn't mention this in the first half for Stomp the Yard, but I mean, come on now. We do have our obligatory hip hop artists in the cast because you have Chris Brown and you have Neo. But here, for Bring It On, you have the Ladies of Black, whom we've also seen in a brief cameo last week in Honey. And if you did not know, Black is a girl group that was discovered and mentored by Lisa Left Eye Lopez. It's like almost as if we're in just one big cinematic dance movie universe. Both of these movies are littered with hip hop and R&B royalty. And yes, although we found out that a lot of the promotional stuff that they used for Bring It On was filmed after, so we can be more incentivized to watch Bring It On, the Clovers were impactful for a reason. Round 3, cultural impact. Now, this is where we discuss HBCU pride versus cultural extraction. Stomp the Yard introduces stepping into a mainstream audience. Its visibility, its tradition, its brotherhood as performance. But Stomp the Yard didn't just tell a story. It introduced HBCU culture to a new generation, keeping up the lineage of shows and movies like School Days by Spike Lee or A Different World. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this might be the last major HBCU representation in the mainstream that has reached the masses like this movie has. Bring It On the other hand, is confrontation. Because Big Red doesn't just steal routines, she extracts them. Crazy how the movie kind of touches on the quiet parts. Because, after watching this movie during Oscars weekend, I could not help but think about how there's a parallel between Big Red and Remick from Sinners. Huh? Stick with me. Sinners is a movie about vampirism, where vampires aren't just consuming blood, they are consuming culture. Remick wanted to consume the conjuring powers and the culture of Sammy. Taken from the culture without belonging to it. And that's exactly what Big Red does. Prior to this movie ever happening, she went to East Compton with that camera permanently glued to her hand, recorded their routines, repackages it, teaches it to her toros, and they win with it. Meanwhile, the original creators are sitting at home watching it on ESPN and are left out of the spotlight. But other than that, Bring It On built the whole franchise. Bring It On again, All or Nothing, with Hayden Panettiere, Solange, and Rihanna. Spanning over 2 decades, the most recent entry is Bring It On, Cheer or Die, where they were like, oh, we're going to take a cheerleader movie and turn it into a slasher. Why? So Bring It On, even though this is the oldest movie out of all the movies in this bracket, shows how long its influence has lasted. So while one movie expands cultural visibility, the other sustains cultural presence. We're going to move on to core fear versus core desire. This is where we break down the subcontext within these movies. In Stomp the Yard, DJ is running from grief. He is carrying guilt and loss. Because of him deciding to battle that one crew, even after his crew decided this might not be the smartest move for us to do, it resulted into the death of his brother. And ultimately, what does he want? He wants to belong. He wants to be free of that guilt. And he rebuilds it with the brotherhood of Theta Nu Theta. So DJ's core fear is guilt, feeling responsible, and not knowing how to move forward, which means that his core desire is redemption, belonging, brotherhood, and finding a way to rebuild himself through his new community. For Torrance, she wants to prove that she's not a fraud. Torrance is running from the lie that she inherited Big Red's big fat lie. She's afraid of also being exposed as a fraud. She felt like she was cursed throughout the whole movie because she dropped the spirit stick. But what does she want? She wants legitimacy. She wants to win the right way. So her core fear is being a fraud. Being a fraud because she doesn't feel like she could live up to Big Red's shoes, or being a fraud because their whole routines are built off of the lie of Big Red. Her core desire is legitimacy, to win honestly, to lead with integrity, and to prove that she deserves her position. But Bring It On isn't solely about Torrance. Yes, we spend more time with the Toros, but you and I both know that the reason that we watch Bring It On is because of them damn Clovers. So we got to talk about Isis. And yes, Gabrielle Union talks about how she didn't do Isis justice. She made her respectable. But honestly, I disagree with her, because what was she going to do? Beat Torrance's ass for something that Big Red did? She was understanding. Now, if this was Big Red, then by all means, girl, whoop that trick. But it wasn't Big Red. At the same time, though, Because Torrance was trying to fix the system, Isis is living in the reality of said system. She's not trying to prove that she's good enough, because she already is. She already has faith in her team, and she knows that they are damn good cheerleaders. She's trying to be recognized. And that right there is the difference. So her core fear is actually being overlooked yet again, being erased yet again, and being the origin but never receiving the credit. What does that sound like? With that being her driving force, Isis has a core desire of recognition, ownership, and respect for her team's originality. So while Torrance is still trying to fix the system, Isis is navigating and correcting the system that was never built for her in the first place. Round 5, rewatchability and aftertaste. These aren't spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers. And these are gold. We have spirit fingers versus the heritage line. When it comes to Bring It On, this is a zero skip movie. I have not watched this movie in years, a decade even, and I still remember half of the script. We got to give it to the team players like Natina Roberts, because she has some of the standouts, okay? You've been touched by an angel, girl. Oh man, this movie is so good. It's a zero skip movie. With Stomp the Yard is nothing but high octane, great impact, great dancing all throughout the movie. And every problem that I had with You Got Served, gone. This movie was a cohesive, comprehensive movie from start to finish. Like, I still remember the cadences, you still remember the dancing, you still remember the steps. Give me who, one word. Bitches, you still remember this movie from top to bottom. One film builds towards the moments and the other never really lets you go. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. As we prepare to wrap up the first round of movies, this might have to be the hardest round yet. Especially for me, because I love both of these movies. But honestly, these aren't just movies. These movies are moments. They are memories. They're culture. They're different expressions of movement and meaning. Cheer is precision, but Step is about brotherhood, pride, heritage, lineage, culture. And somehow, they both end up on the same stage. And it hurts a little to compare.
Clearly the struggle is real.
But hey, that's CinemaVersus for you. So I turn this over to you. I have presented the facts as loving and unbiased towards both movies as I possibly can. And now you get to decide who moves on to the next round. And whoever wins this battle has to go up against Save the Last Dance. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and vote. Hype up this video, because at the end of the day, I don't choose the winner. You do. This has been CinemaVersus. As per usual, you know what I'm about to say. Protect Black art. Stream Black stories, especially for the month of March. Celebrate movement. I will see you in the next round. In the semifinal round, baby. Oh my gosh. Ah! Thank you so much for making it to this part of the video. If you like what you see upon your black screen, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there. Because baby, at this point, if you made it all the way to this point of the video, we're no longer just friends. The outro here is honestly going to be quick because I've said everything that I needed to say right before the title card. But I want you to know that watching these 8 movies has been so much fun. I have loved every last moment. I'm curious to see how the semifinals are going to shape out. I love you so much, not just because you've watched this video, but because you matter. So if nobody has told you this, I love you. Keep shining.
Tú también deberías de creer en ti. valen más de lo que pienso. Créeme.
And until I see you next week, bye.